Hi there, guys. Welcome back. This is day number 1 of the Self-Care Summit, where we are learning how to cope in the midst of a global crisis. So our very first guest today, his name is Darren Williams. Hi, Darren. Welcome.
Hello from Nashville, Tennessee.
All right. That was my first question. Where are you from, Darren? What do you do? What's your business? Who are you?
Who am I? Well,
Who are you?
in Nashville, Tennessee, we have a lot of creatives, and I have been doing massage since we've had a massage board about 25 years ago. I was in the top 1,000 people, and when you have an industry area like I'm in Nashville, you wind up working with a lot of celebrities, and you go on the road with different people continuously, and it's sort of like that movie Get 'Em to the Greek, where you know people really want that artist to perform healthy. So your job is to do anything and everything. And as you know, as massage therapists, we have to do a lot of rotating of hats. So they come to us for everything. And, that's been my job for 25 years. So I finally did open up a med spa with some folks in a place called Nolensville, Tennessee. So we're just getting up and going on that, but we had a tornado
Yeah.
almost 3.5 weeks ago, and then I was surprised that people started coming out, and really I actually had an increase in business with that. And then with the COVID-19 out, we were told by our governor we couldn't even do massage. So
Yeah. That's definitely impacting some people in a big way, and that's part of why I'm creating this summit, is to help those that are kind of displaced right now. We're all displaced from our jobs, and we're wondering, what the heck can we do? How can we keep helping people? What can we do to support our communities? So thank you for being on today. How else is COVID-19 influencing your life right now? What's happening, not just in business, but in your personal life too?
in my personal life, I was fortunate enough to be able to have a mate come down, and she's amazing. But when she came down to Nashville from Boston, we not only had the tornado, but then now we can't go anywhere. So being stuck in a basement with like somebody you love is awesome, but she, herself is immunocompromised, and she hasn't had the ability to be able to go out. So I've basically been stuck too for the past 3 weeks. But what I found is that a lot of people, to give hope out there, people want massages. So what I've been focusing on a lot, instead of thinking about doom and gloom, is this is an opportunity to reformat, which Nashville is very good at doing. If an artist or somebody gets the rug pulled out from underneath them, in our area, we have communities that kind of help people rebrand and reformat and get you going. So I've done the same thing on my end in Nashville. A lot of bands, I work with a lot of artists, but a lot of bands have been doing this as being the new way of connection, is having concerts from, this. And they've actually done the thing where they've combined cell phones and people working together and creating an entire choir, which was really cool. But for me, I am fortunate enough to be able to have brought out all the stuff after the tornado, to think about what can I be improving upon that I've learned in the past, some different techniques. And I have a body to work on, but there's people out there that don't. And I don't think that a lot of people really understand that on the other side of this COVID-19, people want to have that human touch again, but will you be prepared? And so I started thinking about the different things around the house, like how can I be better prepared? How can I help other therapists out there to be better prepared for an increase in business? And will you be able to handle that? And so I've had come up with a few things around the house. So
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, my couch is so inviting right now, and it would be very easy to lose myself into being a sloth in all of this, and eating not so healthy food and just kind of lounging around. But I love that word that you use, that this is like kind of a reboot for all of us. That time that we have now, I remember wanting the time desperately when I'm working 10, 12 hours a day, and I'm like, man, if I could just pause my life. Well, guess what, I'm in New York. New York is on literally pause, PAUSE. So that's great. I would love to hear some of your ideas about what we could use around the house, since some of us can't even get back to our own offices. What do you have? What's around our house that we can use to take care of our
Well,
bodies and to sharpen us for
I,
when time does
well,
come?
yeah, I see in the background there, you've got this beautiful blue bolster, right?
I do.
And these are delicious. And no offense to anybody out there, when I found this thing, I said, I'm marrying this. This is like delicious. It's just got the perfect amount of give, but you know, they have this phrase going around about lessening the curve. And you know, now it's been the big trend of like, oh, I can catch up on Netflix and things like this. And I thought, well, in lessening that curve, you're probably going to get a lot of curve in your back. So I definitely ran to the melt method. And so, I mean, here it is. Now, you know, the melt method, they got a great book, great bolsters, great tools. But to stem from saying, oh, well, I'm going to get into exercise, get ready, you know, instead of eating all this junk food, I realized, you know, there's this company called Angles 90, and they have this beautiful pull-up gadget that's supposed to be able to give you range of motion and things like that. But what they had said, and what I really found out, was that when you're holding onto a handle normally, you're using your upper body strength. And a lot of women, a lot of, you know, people talk about they don't have a lot of upper body strength. Well, simply what they had said is if you move your finger one space over, now you're working your forearm when you're doing a pull-up. And I tell you, I thought I was a very strong guy. You're doing massages, right? And it's just like you're very weak in the forearm. And I thought, wow, here we are. I'm getting ready. I'm going, yeah, I'm going to do my P90X and blah, 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 get in shape. And I realized, wow, if I'm not doing massages like I'm normally doing, this is wasting away. And so when I went to the melt method, which I love them, and Sue, sometimes, well, she's the one that created the melt method. She has been getting in contact with people personally now because people got the time to do it. And so she's contacted us, but it's like taking the simple ball. You know, you can do a test. And I thought, well, okay, there's a lot of people out there that don't have a ball, really, but you can check your strength and say, okay, is one hand weak, the other one good? But what happens if you don't have their cool little gadgets right now? Well, I rolled up a towel, just a little hand towel, and I said, look, I can do these exercises. I can squeeze this and go, oh, I can tell the difference if one hand's getting weak or not. But what about our fingers? And if you simply just take your finger and you press down and then press down this way on all your fingers, you basically you realizing, okay, I've got strength in certain ones and some in other and not. And I said, well, with the ball, they have different release techniques. And I said, well, again, what if you don't have a ball? Mm-hmm. I said, what if you take your own, we're used to doing this. What if we just simply like take that breath and just, inhale and exhale and lift the knuckle up as we press down on there. And you're getting the very same thing. So I'm breathing in, I'm releasing, I'm giving space, and I haven't had to use the ball. And then afterwards, I can simply just take my own knuckles and just spread things out and get circulation in there. And then you check again and you go, wow, do I have more strength or not? And you find out you do. So this is one of the things that I love doing. And then Amazon's still selling these beautiful little gyro balls. And you definitely would, if you tried this before you did that exercise with that towel and then did it afterwards, you'd probably find you have a whole lot more strength. So that's some self-care for the house.
Definitely some self-care for some massage therapists. And you don't need, Darren is showing gadgets because he's a gadget guy and he loves gadgets, but you don't need gadgets.
No, use your own body.
Use your own body for sure. Doing body weight exercises is amazing. And
you take your own fingers and you put your fingers, interlock them underneath your other fingers and just spread them out. You don't need to go out and buy a $20 rubber thing to put on your fingers. We can do this ourselves. In the old days in the comic books, they had a guy named Charles Atlas, and they called this dynamic tension. And you can just simply do this resisting against your own body. Your body won't allow you to hurt itself. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's
So that's ways that we can strengthen our physical body as massage therapists. What advice do you have for people that maybe are just watching this that aren't massage therapists, that don't need to keep their hand slash arm slash shoulder girdle strengthened? What advice do you have for somebody that might be just starting out?
Starting out, let's say everybody is now equal. We really are. We all have something in common besides lack of toilet paper right now. We're going through this thing. And wouldn't it be really cool to start sending people, I don't know if they'll allow this, but just to send do you have a square to spare? It's like, I'm just thinking of you, whatever. That'd be funny.
Accepting donations.
Yes. Yeah. But listen, I'm a bookworm. I mean, I've got 9 bookcases of mind body medicine. And it's like, and sometimes I wonder how many doctors have libraries, right? But there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. All right. And in this, they talk about how there was, a national a disaster that happened with, about in New Orleans. Sorry, got screwed up there for a second. But the thing is, they were saying that when these people were traumatized and you kept them bound in transportation to get them out of the area, that they still had a lot of trauma left in them. But when they found out with the neuroscientists that when you make and have movement, then you start releasing trauma. But a lot of people really have been raised, I believe, in our society with TV and everything to constantly, if you're facing fear, you have a lot of sales and things that have distraction and convenience. Mm-hmm. So with the distraction and convenience, we don't want to deal with our emotions a lot. And sometimes when you're giving massages or getting a massage, things will pop up. You'll see in clients, or when you're laying on a table and someone touches you. Sometimes when you touch yourself all day long, nothing happens. But then when somebody comes up and they touch you and you go, oh, I'm having a memory, or I'm having a trigger or something. One of the coolest things you can do right away is just simply, we're born with breath and it's going to be with us for our entire life. Mm-hmm. And so if we just simply check in with our breathing, if we're present right now, it's almost impossible to be anxious, because anxiety is the future. I don't have an understanding of what's happening, but I have an understanding of what's happening right now. So if I can just simply breathe, and if I can simply just stand, if I'm going to stand up in the background here. If I was going to close my eyes and just feel my body, I can do it pretty quickly. Like if someone touches you, within a second, if it's a good touch, bad touch, what's their intention? Well, you can do the same thing with your body of going, do I need to sit there and focus on how my toe is touching the floor or my knee? You'll know pretty quickly, okay, I'm just breathing and here's my body. I feel something. I feel like my elbows move. Okay, I'm noticing my elbows move. So it's what happens if I exaggerate my elbows moving? And then you just do this, and next thing you know, you're in movement naturally with your body. And you'll probably find that a lot of things start to lessen up as far as anxiety, stress, whatever. And all you're doing is you're breathing, and you're literally right where you are in the present moment. And then you walk up from there, and whatever it is what pops up for you is what do I really want to do? What is it, something that I really, they talk about being grateful for or appreciate. I want more of that. And so people, I want you to be able to know that whether you're a therapist or whether you're just, everybody's got something that they really want to do and live and breathe. And it seems like there's this lie that something that you want is way out there. And if I can just do a lot of things, I'll become something. It's well, what if we just do the opposite? What if we wake up in the day and go, hey, I already like something. What if I want more of that? What if I actually want more towels, right, that are red, right? So if I start bringing in a lot of towels, and then I go, well, you know what? I like my coffee a certain way. I'm going to have this pretty much, brewed this way or whatever. And I start incorporating these things in my life. Pretty soon, when you start bringing in multiple things in your life, one day you're just going to turn around and go, wow, I'm really living a fulfilled life. I have filled my life with the fullness of the things that I'm already grateful for. So you're already living a fantastic life. You didn't have to become something else. All of a sudden, you just are doing what you're doing. And from that, you may just turn into whatever it was that you wanted to be way back when. but you're not chasing after something, always being in student mode or not being ready yet because you're chasing after all these things you think you need to do to become something later on. You
Yeah.
just become. That's the easiest way I found to be able to do it, is how to live a fulfilled life. Is just wake up in a day that you already want to be doing.
And I don't want to take away from the magnitude of the nightmare that some people really are experiencing right now, especially if they've been diagnosed as positive for COVID-19, or if they're in the trenches and in the front lines of working in our hospitals and working in our law enforcement and in our prisons and all of the places where they are considered essential. They're not necessarily waking up saying, this is the life that I want right now, but those of us that are at home holding all of those essential workers in reverence right now, we really can definitely give ourselves some grace and just back up. I love that you said that, anxiety is in the future. Like, we experience physical sensations of anxiety right now, but really the thought pattern is worry, and it's about taking it into the future and what's going to happen and all the what ifs and what shoulds. And yeah, we're on the same page, Darren, because my degree is in body psychology as well. And we're holding, and that's why there's a physical sensation there. But as soon as you do start to have that little bit of movement and that little bit of grace for yourself through your breath, then it does dissipate. It is possible for it to dissipate. So thank you for bringing all of that up. Anybody can do that. Physical exertion can enhance that sometimes. So if your body says, go ahead and move, then you should go do those push-ups, do those wall push-ups, do those pull-ups you were talking about. You can use anything to help the physical sensation of anxiety and worry disappear, at least for the time being. And really, now is all the time we have, right?
Right. And so even emotionally, on the emotional level, and we're basically forced to know that I've already had 2 people I know die last night. So it's like, okay, we have this. So now really is the opportunity, with the perfect excuse, to be able to say, I love you, or I care about you, or somebody did something nice for me years ago. I want to let them know that I still think about that. The most beautiful word that we have right now is permission. Think about it. When you have permission, don't you feel fantastic?
Yeah.
Well, now you have permission to be able to be still. No one, sure, there's people that have their jobs and they do, those healthcare workers and stuff that are out there, they're doing their thing, and it's like, and they're heroes. A lot of us are stuck right now, but if you're in a place where you're quarantined, you can go out and say, hey, I still love you. I still think about you. Thank you for your friendship, things like that. And you know what? I was angry at you in the past. I might not be here tomorrow, but it's like, you know what? I got it off my chest. I don't have to carry it with me. And if I'm thinking about all those things that I've saved for when I was 70, 80 years of age, well, everybody right now is 70, 80, 90 years of age. We're not promised to tomorrow. So start utilizing this time to say, hey, I care about you, or I'm going to get out my fun toys, my good plates, my good food. Enjoy life a little bit here, but use this time with the permission that it's okay now to be able to be settled down, go inward a little bit and say, what pops up? Who am I thinking about? Can I contact that person? Because now is the time to do that. And it feels so good once you do. Even if it was your enemy, I've had a few enemies now become my best friends, So.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great message. And it's one that we all need to hear for sure. And I'm going to maybe put you on the spot a little bit by asking you this, but why is that so important right now? Why do you think that's so important to do right now?
If you really think about it, we had the hippies in the 70s, and they were talking about world peace. And then in the 80s, everybody was happy, and there were songs out there like revolution. Well, okay, so here we are. How do we really change the world? Well, how do we change the world right now is exactly like this. You'll probably see a trend outside of the news with fear, the trend of people wanting to connect. Mm-hmm. And they're starting to really be, after a couple days, some people might be bored, so they want to be creative. And now they're being creative with ways of like, wow, I'm learning about social media in this way. I can reach out to folks. And so real feelings start to pop up, because it's sort of like being in an isolation tank, where you have all your sensory just deprived for a little bit of what your normal active. I'm going out to one concert or one activity after another, or I have to go and blah, 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 fill your life up with all this extra expenditure of energy. Now, with the permission of being able to be in your own place, you start to reach out to people and say, hey, I truly care about you. And you know what? If something isn't working out right politically, well, fine. You talk about your friends, talk to your friends about this, and you say, what would be better? What would be better for my local community and stuff like that? Now you can start getting active community and participation, say we want to make these changes. So the world would change because it's a different mindset now. There's nobody to bomb. There's nobody to shoot. It's a mindset. And now we're starting to be in the same boat together for the first time in a long, long time. Whereas like, are we going to have world peace or not? It comes about with how we show up. How do I want my world to be better so that when I go to the supermarket again, someone's not like freaking out. They could be, hey, we're having a beautiful community. It's really good to see you again. And we really have that reboot chance right now, this opportunity to have that. So yeah, I'm glad it's in one way happening. Another way is like, yeah, it's devastation, but it's all the way what you want to look at. How do you want your world to be when you leave your cocoon here?
Yeah, it's definitely a time to reprioritize and realize that it truly is the people that matter. It is our community, not just the people we know, but every person we come into contact with and every person that they come into contact with. So that's how a virus spreads. So what kind of virus are you spreading with your own actions and your own communication and your own language and how you're reaching out to people? Having all of the doing and all of the tasks being taken away, what's left is people and communicating with each other, supporting each other.
So we're getting a little bit more of that. You're seeing reports around the country where people come to the end of their driveways and the whole neighborhood come out and they're separated by the driveways and they're doing exercise together.
Yeah.
I mean, how beautiful is that, really? Or, in Atlanta, the first responders, when they changed their shift, thousands of people singing from their windows and stuff, cheering the people and clapping as the people are changing shifts. I mean, how cool is this? This is the world we wish we wanted to have way back, let's say in the 70s or the 60s. So
yeah, there's a million ways that we can support each other, and it really is just about banding together. Thank goodness for technology. Thank goodness this allows us to communicate still, and finding ways in our own communities and throughout, just this summit is going to have reach all over the United States. So I'm so grateful for technology and for ways that we can all group together in both locally and nationally and globally potentially to be of assistance in every single moment. So thank you. Is there any last words that you want to say?
Well, I'm just thankful that you're doing this, Melanie. It's been, you figured out how to do this way before many other institutions knew how to like get online and have connection, depending on, didn't matter how many miles apart you were. And so even though all of you are out here, viewing this right now, I'm thankful that you made it this far. And I want to say one thing. The only thing that really needs to die is the idea that you're not good enough. So right there, just start doing some of the things that make you feel really good and share that. Yeah. You'll find out really fast that if someone is like, if they're complaining or whatever, don't just jump right in and just try to like give your like 2 cents worth. Let them have their say, hold space for that person. And then afterwards, when that's done and said, maybe then you can join together and say, well, what can we do? One small little thing is doable in the next 24 hours that I can make this situation a little bit better. And watch how your world changes.
Yeah. And then forgive yourself for anything that you did in the past, even the most recent past 5 minutes ago that maybe wasn't up to your own expectations and your own up to par with yourself, because every moment is a chance to start over again. So,
Yeah. So biblically, they say, well, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, how do you forgive people if you don't know how to forgive yourself? Well, the easiest way to do that is simply be authentic and say, this is who I am. This is what I did with the information I had at the time. And it's like, and if I could still reach out and talk to the people that may have been somehow harmed in any of my decisions that I had with what I knew at the time, you can probably balance that out right now. They probably may not even remember. And
mhm.
if they did, they're probably in a different space right now where they're longing for the relationships to rekindle and rebuild. Or, just be able to say, for your own self, you did the best you could with what you had. That's one very easy way to forgive yourself,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And I'm finding that anytime I start to lose it a little bit or I'm getting down on myself, then I reach out to somebody else and just say, are you okay? And offer them that, there's the saying, reach out and hug someone. We can't physically hug each other right now, but we
Oh,
can fist bump, no, fist bump and elbow bump or whatever we're doing at this point. It's all virtual. We're all stuck in our houses, but really the best way to be able to find footing for yourself again is to reach out to another person. So thank you for that. I know you're the king of hugs sometimes, so thank you for being here and hugging people with your words.
yes. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to be in touch with you, Darren, I know you have a million friends all over the world. So if you want to share some contact information, whether it's just, Facebook, find you on Facebook or however you would like for people to get in touch with you, what would that be?
Well, it's really easy to find me on Facebook. I mean, I'm part of Generation X where I haven't really jumped out to Instagram and all of that.
Yeah.
But you can find me pretty easy. I have long hair. It's Darren Williams on Facebook. And then, I'm sure Melanie might be able to put something in the description as far as getting hold of us at our med spa, Bellamy Med Spa. So it's like La Bella Med Spa means the beautiful one. And so I'm really excited to see if anybody would like to contact. And I would be very open to talking to anybody about where they're going at presently in the moment. I do that a lot of helping people to learn how to live where they stand and thrive where they move next. So.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. So that's what we have for today, folks, and we'll have another video for you tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Bye.